Welcome to Beacon of Creation, a weekly podcast on game design through the lens of Magic the Gathering. I'm Tim.
I'm Juliet.
We had the biggest bumper crop of submissions for a design challenge we've ever gotten. We got 25 people submitting to one challenge, 1 month. Woo!
It's really exciting stuff for this February design challenge, which was Febru-Air Elemental. Design a 4/4 flyer with mana value 5. Like the classic card, Air Elemental.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like me have some nostalgia for these kind of old, plain pseudo vanilla or French vanilla cards that were also like a beater in their day.
Yeah.
And speaking of a beater in their day, we've got optional bonus points like Febru-Air Angel. Give it exactly one other keyword, like Sarah Angel with flying and vigilance. And Air is human. Make it a human 4/4 flyer for 5.
Giant flyer, yeah. I think that part of the basis of this Air Elemental challenge is what you're saying, where like a 5-minute 4/4 flyer just has a lot of combat value in the game. It's like reasonably good at blocking, which isn't true for a lot of flyers. And so part of what we're trying to figure out here, do these have to be kind of high rarity cards? What kind of mechanic do we want to have on them? But we have this baseline useful card, and we're just layering something else onto that.
Yeah, and since we got so many, let's get started here. Our first submission is from Eint. It's Primordial Lichni. It's 2 blue, black, and a red for a 4/4. It's a rare creature zombie wizard. It has flying and banding.
Okay.
And a player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. So we got mana burn back. And instant spells in your hand have splice onto instant or sorcery. The splice cost is equal to its mana value plus discard this card.
Okay.
Interesting. Flavor text so old, he still uses Thaco or 2-hit armor class 0.
The old Dungeons and Dragons AC. And we got kind of a black and white, I would guess like first or second edition style Lich art here as well. So we got a bunch of throwbacks, flying banding. I guess we'll break all these down once we get to them. But just to sort of summarize, we got banding on here, which is like a super old mechanic. We got mana burn, as you said, is back. And then I think the intent of this last block is to recreate the original rules of how like instance worked.
Oh, interesting. Like you're batching
Yeah.
that you're batching the instant onto another instant or sorcery because the first instant is an interrupt.
Yeah, it's something like that. I would actually have to double check how the old batching stuff worked, but there used to be a separation between instants and interrupts. Or most effects sort of had split second, except for interrupts could interrupt split second. I don't know how to summarize that, but interrupts were like a special thing, like counterspell or whatever, was able to cast in response to something, and then eventually they got rid of all that and they went to the stack. So now you can just say like, oh, I cast lightning bolt, I cast giant growth in response. Well, I lightning bolt in response to that to make sure your creature dies. And that was not quite possible in the first couple of years of Magic, even though I think sometimes I played that way as a kid.
Yeah. And this being a primordial card, this is very harkening back both in the art, in the flavor, and in all of the mechanics, being very ancien, as they say, back in the olden days.
Yeah, using splice. I don't know if there are other wrinkles to it besides that sort of like old instant play style. I don't know if because the splice cost, you have to pay for it and discard it anyhow. So it's really like casting it.
Yeah, I think it is a card that is designed to make it feel for everybody like it is 30 years ago.
Yeah. Mana burn. I guess mana burn, there's like a commander that does mana burn or like fake mana burn. And I guess in the commander context, then you can stock your deck with like the cards that give everyone mana.
Mhm. You can turn group hug into group slug sort of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
situations, yeah.
On a standalone card that feels a little harder to make work. Um,
Mhm.
but maybe it just you're using it. You, I mean, that's the air elemental difference is that you're kind of using this card because it's like kind of solid overall, and then whatever other text you want to throw on there is for fun.
Tim, I feel like you have more thoughts about or experience with or I'm not quite sure the
Hmm.
right word would be. I what are your thoughts on banding?
Banding here, yeah. So banding on an air elemental is maybe not banding at its best, at least
Mhm.
offensively. When you band a couple creatures together, so you're able to create a band of any number of creatures with banding plus one bonus creature. So if you only had this as your only banding creature, you would pick one other creature to band with. And then when they attack, if it's a ground creatures can block the band. So the flying doesn't really benefit you unless the entire band has flying.
Mhm.
And then the other advantage of banding is that you kind of pick how the damage is distributed. So the main reason why banding would help your flying 4/4 is if like the opponent also had a giant flyer that like another 4/4 of their own. Because what banding lets you do there is basically let you sacrifice something else. Like I band with like I've got a little baby elf and I've got my giant lich, and then that gets blocked by an air elemental. I'm able to say, well, the baby elf takes all the damage and the lich is fine.
I'm thinking maybe if you have something like a thieving magpie,
Hmm.
if you have
Yeah.
a small flyer that has like a saboteur draw a card ability
Mhm.
or like a deal damage to the opponent draw a card ability or something like that, then
Okay.
your zombie lich wizard can be like kind of providing cover for your
Hmm.
much smaller flyer.
Yeah, that's actually true. If you have two flyers and your opponents have some amount of flying defense, the Lich can kind of protect a smaller flyer. That's a good point.
Yeah.
On defense, banding kind of means you never lose any creatures because you like form a band with this 4/4 and a 3/3 on the ground, and then you block a 5/5 and distribute that damage such that neither of your creatures die and their 5/5 dies. And that seems pretty good. I don't know. That's just classic banding. Banding is crazy on blocks.
Getting to the bonus points here, it it's gonna be somewhat interesting. When I said give it exactly one other keyword for
Mm.
Febru-Air Angel,
Yeah.
in many ways, I thought exactly one other keyword, meaning it has its ability and one keyword. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people were like, "Oh, we're gonna give it exactly 2 keywords plus some other abilities," which
Mm.
is, like, also fine to do just for the challenge in general, but
Mm.
I don't know how strictly to grade that bonus
Mm.
point.
You, like, graded all the exams for the final exam for your class, and you realize no one got over 90, and then you're like, "Uh-oh. Was my grading a little bit off?" Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, we can give him a half bonus point, why not?
I was a TA for a big, like, 200 plus person,
Mm.
class, and the amount of times it would be like, here, not even a full assignment, a, like, little class exercise where everybody has you
Yeah.
can put in their digital thing and be like,
Mhm.
"Give 2 examples of blank." And
Hmm.
then once the first, like, 10 people misunderstand the question and give their examples, then the next 190 people are also going to just not read the question, are gonna just follow suit,
Mm.
which different situation than the one we're dealing with here, but
Okay.
it is funny that
Yeah.
that sequence. My other question is, Tim, do you think this qualifies for Make It a Human?
Hmm. I guess in magic terms, no. In flavor terms, probably. Like this looks like a human, just a undead human.
Because a zombie that doesn't have other clarifying characteristics is a zombie made from a human, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
that's
it's a zombie made from a
true.
goblin, then it's a zombie goblin
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
zombie elf or a zombie merfolk.
Mhm, mhm. We do say
Uh,
capital H human in the bonus point is that if we need to defend ourselves. Uh,
mhm.
I think lowercase human, this is a lowercase human for sure.
Mhm.
uh, maybe it's not an uppercase human. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I
Eint has 2 half bonus points to round up to a whole bonus point.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Also, fun fact for the audience. Did you know that the word lich
Mm,
is, cognates with the word like?
like
Like
it came from the same word.
yeah, yeah, they're the
Mm.
lich meaning like a corpse comes originally from like meaning the form of.
Oh.
Uh, you say something is like something, oh, it's in that
Oh,
same
okay.
shape as, it's in the same form as.
Similar to a human.
Mhm. Same
Okay.
same form as human.
Mm,
Which
okay.
a corpse is.
Ah,
It's the same shape.
yeah, hopefully. Cthulhu sting in the background. Thanks for the submission. Our next one is from Cryptrat, who sent us Clouded Drifter. This is 3 snow snow. So you have to pay 5 total mana, 2 of it from snow sources. So a snow land, a snow typed elf, a artifact with snow.
Mhm.
This is a 4/4 with flying, as you'd expect. It's a snow creature cat elemental, so it's also snow itself. And then it has forecast for 1 mana and reveal this card from your hand. Target permanent becomes snow until end of turn. And the forecast ability is an old one. It has some reminder text here. Activate this ability only during your upkeep and only once each turn.
Yeah. The classic Azorius mechanic, I think, from
Hmm.
the original Ravnica block.
Yeah.
I think combining forecast with the snow part is
Mm.
there's a pun here. There's some wordplay being done that I think the
Yeah.
wordplay works.
Yeah. It's fun.
You can snow wash some mana.
Yeah.
You do need to have at least one snow mana source to begin with, since this requires 2 snow mana,
Mm-hmm.
in the cost. So you can basically cast this for 6 mana, 1 of which is snow, or 5 mana,
Mm.
2 of which is snow, because of the ability to use the forecast, assuming that you
Mm.
had this card in your hand during your upkeep on the turn
Yeah.
that you wanna cast it, and didn't
Yeah.
just draw it.
I guess if you had like a soul ring or something, you could turn a soul ring snow, tap that for 2 mana.
Mm,
That would be 2 mana.
excellent point.
It would still be sort of 6 mana, like you're saying, though. There's a couple funny things about this card. One of them is it's a cat elemental, which
Mhm,
I think might be a reference to one of the existing forecast cards, which is Pride of the Clouds, which is
mhm,
like a
mhm.
cares about flying card from Dissension.
Back in our favorite flavor cats episode from a few years ago, that
Hmm.
was one that I found very funny because it's like, yes, the thing that cats famously do, fly and create birds.
And
Uh,
love clouds. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
this is maybe a reference to that.
mhm,
I think it might be clouded Pride of the Clouds. Forecast itself is like a thing they haven't really tried to bring back. There might be like a comedy card they made or something. It's a little bit of a funky effect because you have to commit to it before your draw. If you draw your card for the turn, you can no longer forecast something. Like if you just sort of do the, oh, it's my turn, I'm going to grab my card. It's like the normal weakness of the upkeep step. People want to draw their card for the turn, they accidentally skip things. But here it's for like a pretty fun effect, uh, at least a funny effect. And you get why you have to do it then, I guess. You have to forecast, you have to do it ahead of time because it's snow.
yeah. I don't know that you need 3 snow for a 4/4 flyer. Like, I feel like
Hmm.
in the current era, you can just have a artifact creature 4/4 flyer for 5
Hmm.
generic mana. Obviously, that's you wouldn't want that in every, limited environment
Hmm.
necessarily, but it's also not necessarily, like, overwhelmingly strong such that you would need the double pips of snow, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess like snow, a lot of snow stuff is like threshold one. Like if you have
Mhm.
one source, now your effect comes to life. This isn't necessarily a card that you are, rewarding the dedicated snow player. This card is actually maybe more of a bridge card in draft or something where you don't know how snow your deck is going to be, so you need a way to fix your snowiness. And this forecast ability lets you fix your stuff to be more snowy than your deck actually supports,
Mhm.
which I think you're right, kind of clashes with the double snow in the cost. Where if I'm already on the fence as to whether I have enough snow lands or snow sources in a draft deck, I don't want to commit to a double snow creature.
You could be using the forecast to, like, if I have destroy target snow creature, kind of the inverse of
Mm,
the cold snap black
okay,
removal spell.
sure.
Oh, I'm forecasting and then killing your thing that now is a snow permanent or now is a snow creature.
Mm.
I want to say break the ice, the Modern Horizons land destruction
Mm.
card. It's like a sinkhole that can overload that hits like colorless producing lands
Mhm,
and snow lands and stuff. But
mhm,
I think even the like tech-iness of that, because it's during this like limited window of your upkeep and because of the kind of cost of the mana for there, I think overall I would enjoy this design more with a single snow mana in its pip so that it can be fixing for itself. But if you do already have a snow source, you're effectively getting a 1 mana discount.
hmm. I guess maybe the double snow then is trying to keep this out of the hands of, like, a random green deck, like, it's attempting, like, a
Mm.
weird color pie enforcement, but just through
Sure.
inconvenience, I don't know.
Mhm.
Because I guess if it's only a single snow, then any deck could really reasonably try to play it if they I guess at that point, you're right, though, it's still like a 6 mana 4/4 flyer, which I think has been an artifact creature before. I was also kind of curious, like Kaldheim is a set that had a fair amount of snow in it. And I was kind of curious if they did double snow costs. And one of them that
Mhm.
was a common, I'd forgotten this was double snow. Icehide Troll, which is a 3 mana 2/3, and then for double snow, it gets 2 extra power, indestructible, and then tap it. So they were comfortable enough or confident enough that people could get double snow in like some number of snow decks and limited because they put this effect at common. They expected, it to be used pretty often.
That makes sense. And it looks like both of the native 4/4 flyers that are artifact creatures for 5 generic mana, those are both rare. So that's
Hmm.
something to think about.
Yeah.
One's from original Innistrad and one's from the Warhammer 40K set. So
Oh, hell yeah. And then bonus points. I think this to me counts for even the pure version of the just one keyword.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
this is hitting that it's flying. It has forecast,
Yeah.
and the forecast just happens to have a ability because of how that keyword works.
Hmm, hmm.
So it's a nice clean design on both of those fronts, both of those cold fronts.
I also am noticing. We, nice.
Sorry.
No, that's good. I also am noticing as I'm going through some of these cards that one of our members, Church Wizard, has started reacting with a church emoji on
Mhm.
presumably their favorites from the submissions. I like having a signature emoji that that you're branded with the church emoji
That's
for submitting a cool card.
we kind of used to do that for the chat challenges
Yeah, that's true.
back in early Castmire,
Yeah.
where everybody would just use their specific emoji as their like seal of approval or
Yeah,
voting.
yeah,
That's it's a fun thing to maybe bring back.
yeah, yeah.
Is a cat elemental a human?
I'm gonna say no, especially looking at this art for the Pride of the Clouds. Not close enough to human.
But is a snow cat elemental a human?
Mm. You're saying something about like it packs snow on its body and reshapes itself to look like a football player or something.
An exercise left to the reader.
Mm.
Our next submission is from Plumtree Chloe. It's Infested Dragon for 2 black, black, black. It's a 4/4. It's a mythic rare creature dragon zombie. It
Mm.
has flying and wither
Mm.
and When this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player instead creates that many infection enchantment tokens with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. And when this creature dies, destroy all enchantment tokens.
Hmm. Wow. This is a little bit like that. There's a Chandra that has emblems that tick people every turn.
Sure.
The witheriness doesn't matter for this big effect, but it's just like a cool keyword to throw on a cool evil dragon. But then when I hit, they don't take any damage. They make these enchantments, and these enchantments will tick them once it turns into their turn. So it's pretty close to dealing damage, or at least the first hit is pretty close to dealing damage.
Hmm.
But once the dragon dies, they no longer take damage every turn.
A way of thinking about the -1/-1
Sure.
counters that Wither does is
Okay.
as like for each of those -1/-1
Mm,
counters on the creature
mhm.
has at the beginning of your upkeep,
Yeah.
you lose 1 toughness.
Yeah, yeah.
So make sure that you lose 1 life.
Trying to make a witheriness, but on players.
Hmm.
Okay. And then infection enchantment tokens. Any kind of like constellation, enchantment fall, enchantment enters effects. Really love
Mm.
this. Counting the number
Hmm.
of enchantments you control. Enchantments you control gain indestructible. All that's pretty good for this dragon here. The other kind of interesting thing about the dragon is that it's a dies trigger. So
Mm.
if you try to exile this after you've been hit, you're in a bad place. Because you will keep all of your infection if you exile this or, bounce it to hand or return it to their library.
Yeah, I might want as a player, if I'm all in on Infested Dragon,
Yeah.
having some way to bounce it, whether with a normal blue bounce spell or green occasionally gets those like return a creature, target creature gets indestructible, like Team or
Mm.
Sabertooth sort of things. Or even like a white, like a gating effect. Uh,
Mm.
you have a creature
Oh,
that
funny.
enters the battlefield and you have to return one of your
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah.
Do all the different ways to save the infested dragon from dying to make sure that the land continues to burn, in a sense.
Yeah. 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 Ninjutsu it after. So I think that the other impression I had from this card is that, as good as this card is, it will have an insanely high heat level in a commander game. People will see this dragon and be absolutely terrified way beyond the normal, power level of this card. Like this sort of effect that's going to deal you damage over multiple turns. This will infect the average commander player's mind, and they're like, "Oh, I have to destroy this at all costs." Um, yeah,
And because of the in a 1v1 situation, if I'm dealing damage to you with this, you're creating those tokens.
yeah.
By the time another player can untap and cast a sorcery or a Wrath of God or just untap and
Oh,
cast a removal
huh.
spell, the
Yeah.
tokens will have already triggered. If we're in a
Ooh,
multiplayer game
yeah.
and I attack you, but there's even a single player between us,
Yeah.
that player might wrath the board,
Yeah.
removing those tokens. And effectively, you got hit by a 4/4 flyer and took 0 damage from that.
Mm, that's funny. Hmm. I guess what are there any other things we do with the tokens here? This destroys enchantment tokens. Are there many enchantment tokens that are cool to destroy?
This Infested Dragon really hates the theater or hates like
Mm,
storybooks because
okay.
this will
Destroy
eliminate all of
roles.
the exactly
Hmm.
all of the role tokens from
Hmm.
Wilds of Eldraine.
I like that. Saga tokens. I don't know. Those
Sure,
those are more of
yeah.
a custom magic thing, but yeah.
I mean, I both frequent contributor Cord
Yeah.
and myself in Starcraft Lovers of New Capenna have been exploring saga tokens that have I think the way to do saga tokens is to have a really specific thing that they always are, whether that is
Hmm.
adding mana or hey, when this leaves the battlefield, everybody draws a card. That sort
Hmm.
of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think this is fun in a scary way,
Yeah.
but totally safe enough, which
Yeah.
makes me
Very
kind of
magic.
feel like
Yeah.
this is like a if you wanted to put -1/-1 counters in a like foundations style
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
set, or maybe like a jumpstart sort of
Sure, yeah.
situation.
I think Jumpstart, yeah, that's good. Jumpstart's kind of emerged as a place to put a variety of like weird cards
Hmm.
that they don't quite want to put in the main set, but that they just think are like kind of sick for like if there was some enchantment tokeny set where enchantment tokens existed, like you sneak it into the Jumpstart packs only.
Hmm.
All right, yeah. Thanks for the submission.
It's got one extra keyword, but it does have
Mm,
these other abilities. Though
mhm,
I do think in a way the other abilities could, like, you can imagine a keyword that is deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters and to players in the form
mm.
of,
Infection
and then
tokens. Yeah.
yeah, and then we just pre-write what the infection tokens mean so that they
Mm,
always are that. Is a dragon zombie a human?
mm. I'm more skeptical of that. I guess dragons have often turned into humans in fiction. But if you're
Sure.
a dragon zombie, I think you may have lost that ability.
Looks like there's a human in the art in the very front.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
think that that is the dragon zombie? You think the dragon zombie is probably the big blue dragon
Hmm,
breathing
that's my feeling.
poison onto the
Yeah.
human? Yeah, I think you're probably
It's not
right.
like a little dragonborn hiding in that helmet, yeah.
We like that fun here.
Our next card is from Miss Liss, and it's called Destroyer of Histories. Damn. It's 3 black, black, 5 mana for a 4/4 flyer, so kinda normal in that sense. A creature human demon, at rare. Besides flying, it has Devour Historic Permanence 1. The reminder text for Devour is as this creature enters, you may sacrifice any number of historic permanents. It enters with that many +1/+1 counters on it. When this creature enters, when this creature enters, you gain 1 life for each historic card in your graveyard. Hmm.
Flavor text: a lifetime of keeping Sarah's histories, and not one of my prayers were answered. Patriarch Belzenlock granted me immortality simply for burning them.
Hmm. So I can sacrifice a couple artifacts and enter this enters with a couple +1/+1 counters.
Mhm,
And that would be as it enters, so that would be in time to put those artifacts in the graveyard for the other trigger, which when this
mhm.
enters, you gain a life for each historic card in your graveyard. I don't know, 2 to 6 life or something.
Yeah. I'd love to play this in like a just fit this into a Scars block draft or something like that.
Hmm.
Someplace where you can accrue a bunch of artifacts and maybe they did something and you used up the counters on them, or
Mhm.
they're just, hey, I drew my rare. I'm gonna slam it
Hmm.
down. I'm gonna sacrifice 3 artifacts and I'm gonna feel like my deck construction like fit together to make this seven
Hmm.
seven flyer or
Mhm.
similar.
Yeah, it's like a pretty big stabilize play, which big flyers aren't always that good at stabilizing. Like even an air elemental, like it might not be able to beat the like green creature that your opponent has played, like a 5/5/6/6, something like that. But this can come in and gain you like that nice chunk of life. So even if your opponent's attacking you and you need some time to get rolling, you'll at least have some extra life to work with. I guess my first impression on both of these abilities was that they're both a little bit minor. It's difficult to have enough historic permanents to that are ready to be sacked, and the amount of life that I gain is kind of dependent on deck building and like how the game has progressed. So neither of them are like particularly strong, flashy abilities, but maybe the combination of the both makes this card just kind of good enough. Like it's already a kind of big creature; it can become a huge creature, um, and you're not gaining probably 15 life, but maybe 6 life is all you need.
A classic sort of thing that I might want to try playing with this would be
Mm.
Flagstones of Chokair, the
Mm.
legendary land that sacrifices, if you have 2 of them, they die to the legend rule, and you can fetch a plains.
Mhm, mhm.
Frequently played in weird little smallpox sort of shells or restore balance decks or things like that.
Hmm.
In this case, because well, devour historic permanents, I'm like, maybe I do want to just play a bunch of random legendary lands, even if I'm not necessarily using them for their abilities, just so that I can, in a pinch,
Mm.
sacrifice 2 or 3 of my lands just to get some extra life and some extra, power toughness on this.
Mhm. Be a little all in. Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know that I want to be sacrificing a lot of legendary creatures or even
Yeah.
1 legendary creature.
Yeah, historic. So yeah, legendary creatures. I'm getting 1 counter per legendary creature I sacrifice. I'm getting 1 counter per saga I sacrifice. I'm getting 1 counter per artifact I sacrifice. Those are all pretty hard to. I mean, the artifact maybe is the only one that's like close to like
Mhm,
worth like being okay sacrificing them in a normal game setting. Like maybe you're
mhm.
right where it's like desperate. Like I'm just gonna go all in. I'm gonna sacrifice all my other stuff, gain the life I need, hit my opponent, kill my opponent in 2, swings in the air with my giant demon.
Yeah.
I maybe it's too aggressive, but this feels like it might be just like a cool uncommon to me. I don't know.
Mm, sure.
At least power level wise, I feel like you have to build towards it a decent amount. Because even if you're like sacrificing like food or treasure, you had to put in work to do that, and you only get a counter per food you sack. So that might put it in the hand of the person in draft or whatever that is really excited to play this. Though maybe you're playing some commander deck where like you got 40 artifacts in your graveyard and you're just gaining a huge chunk of life.
Yeah, I like the idea of, again, thinking about some core set-esque limited
Mm,
environment
yeah.
where, "Hey, I have this bomb rare, this bomb uncommon, and I drafted a bunch of artifacts that, you know,
Mm,
drew me a card or that fetched a land or did different little things." And because I drafted those, like, marginal, they're playable, but most decks don't want them or need them, and I have, like,
mm,
2 other synergies. This is my, like, artifact top end without needing it to say, like, affinity for artifacts or be, like, an artifact themed card. Instead, it can be, "Oh, this is a generic, not in a bad way, but, like, this is a classic black, mono black sort of flavor," but that then interfaces with that draft a bunch of the
mm.
artifacts in the set sort of, limited environment.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool submission. We got a human.
Love the flavor text helping explain the human demon, component.
Yeah, yeah. Probably wouldn't say this has just one extra keyword. Do we give him the Eint point, a half point or not? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely the half keyword,
Mm,
and this similarly is like yeah, and the extra text, like, it happens basically alongside the devour, like,
mm.
it all fits together, and so she really got the parts together into
Okay.
this.
There we go. Thanks for the card.
Uh, much like designing is sometimes based on vibes, reviewing designs and especially the bonus points, it's like, well, you know, was this all of a one? Speaking of all of a one, the next submission is from Juliet.
Mm,
It's Summer Fling. It's 4 and a red mana for a 4/4 creature human rogue at uncommon, and it
okay.
has dash for 3 and a red,
All right.
and this creature has flying and trample as long as
Mm.
it entered this turn or is paired.
Hmm. Okay. So we're trying to get a red card for this challenge. And under rare, this is an uncommon. Doesn't
Mhm.
have flying automatically. But if you dash it, it'll have flying for that first turn. Or if it's paired, like Soul Bond or anything like that, then it would also give itself flying and trample.
And so if you want this to have flying and trample, you have to pay 4 mana every turn because you have to just
Yeah.
keep dashing at each turn.
Yeah. That seems like it still has utility. Like it has this sort of like okay buyout, which I think is intentional, like an okay buyout of like, it's a 5 mana 4/4. That's kind of small for the cost, but 4/4 matters on a battlefield even without flying. And if I have some pairing, I play this 4/4 out. It can throw a block on a 3/3 or whatever if you're under attack, and then turn the corner and start hitting in the air for a lot of damage.
Yeah. I'll read my art description here because I
Ooh.
like it. It's a gleeful daredevil in a new Capennin flapper dress launches herself off of a building,
Hmm.
holding hands with her date, who looks incredibly frightened about the prospect of gravity.
Hmm. Very nice. Summer fling.
Yeah, a pun on fling the magic card, which is like a red spell that gives or I guess fling actually sacrifices,
Yeah.
but instead of sacrificing at end of turn, it's like, okay, you're returning it at the end of turn. You,
Yeah, yeah. A little
y
kinder.
you're seeing her for the summer, and then you're like, "Okay, this I this is a
Yeah.
little too high octane for my."
Stone Giant, like Fling, does kill the creature that gets flung, so, uh,
Mhm,
normally you don't survive, but here in Capenna, we've got our, I don't know, grappling hooks or whatever to catch us.
mhm. Or there's just, like, another, you know, a
Yeah.
copycat. This one died, but another one showed up in the
Oh.
in her place in your hand.
This is like the dating history of some other person who's, like, always going on terrifying dates with daredevils.
Uh-huh,
Alright.
uh-huh.
Awesome. This feels like it has play value. It has dash. If you just have nothing else to do, you play your all like 2 mana card deck, and you just have nothing to do with your mana late game. I just have flying attacker every turn. Very relevant. Very, the body is super good. The partner doesn't have to attack, so I can even, just partner and only attack with the fling and not attack with the hapless date. So yeah, even though it's a little bit of an expensive card, which is a little tough for an aggro deck and limited, this feels like it still makes itself playable in that kind of deck.
How do you feel about this sort of ability that works with Soul Bond, doesn't have
Hmm.
Soul Bond itself, but it does in itself have a way to turn on the thing that the Soul Bond would be turning on, which is a lot of
Yeah,
words, but
that's overall positive, and I think you can't. I think my main concern, if I was looking at a card like this kind of effect, where I have both, I want to have an effect for Soul Bond, but I want to not just be Soul Bond, is that
mhm,
people would miss the paired part of this rules text.
mhm,
I think in this case, it's short enough. I also, I'm sort of preparing myself for conditions when I'm reading this like rules text here. This creature is flying and trample as long as. Oh, okay. Give me a second. I need to know exactly what as long as effect I'm dealing with here. Oh, enter this turn or is paired. So I probably won't get off of this card without noticing that paired matters on this card.
but hopefully the, like, the flavor and the art would help
Yeah. Yeah.
that reminder because, like, "Oh, right,
Yeah.
here's the paired part is
Hmm.
somebody
Hmm.
being like, 'I'm not sure about this flying part.
Hmm. Hmm.
You tell
Hmm.
me you can fly, maybe.'"
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. It's there are sometimes effects like this. Like if this was a little bit of a longer clause where you'd read the first part and you're like, oh, I get it. I don't need to read it all. But here, I think you're in a good spot, and you get a lot of coolness out of just 3 words or is paired, and also I don't think the risk is that high that people will miss it. Um,
great.
so a good spot for it.
Does this count as it it kind of has this weird component of
Oh,
thing
yeah.
where it has an extra keyword in the form of dash, or it has a extra keyword in the form of trample.
Hmm.
I don't know if that counts as exactly one other keyword, but it's like, well, it kind of doesn't have
You know,
those things.
I think the trample is pulling you out of the Eind point here. Like
Okay.
it gets, yeah. That's sort of a judgment call. If it only gave itself flying, maybe we can get Einted, but I don't know.
Even
All right.
then, it would be like, okay, well, while it has dash, if it has flying from the dash, then it also has haste. So it's like,
Ooh. Oh,
it
okay. It has a secret third keyword.
uh-huh,
Hell
uh-huh.
yeah.
Is a human rogue a human?
You're saying that like this person might be below human because of their crimes committed.
No, I'm just continuing a pattern because patterns are funny.
Love it. I believe so.
And speaking of daredevils,
Oh yeah, our next card is from Kern. It's called Human Cannonball. It's 3 blue-red, so 5 mana for a 4/4. Doesn't have flying yet, but let's read the rules text. It's a human performer at rare. So for 1 mana, you have a big ability here. Choose target creature you control, then flip a coin. If you win the flip, that creature gains flying and haste until end of turn. If you lose the flip, sacrifice that creature, then it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. That's one of the like nicest lose the flip clauses I think I've ever seen on a card.
Yeah. Only could
Huh.
do it once. It is funny that this is itself a human performer
Yeah.
and not a cannon with this ability.
Hmm. You want this to be human cannon master, where it's stuffing other people into the cannon and maybe itself.
Maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
And also maybe then make it like a goblin just for
No, it's intrinsic to the flavor of the card that it must be a human.
right.
The balance of like the win or lose the flip, you both of those effects are good. You have a preference as to which one you want, but at least you get something pretty good no matter what you flip.
And honestly, like I think some amount of the time I'd be hoping to lose the flip
Yeah.
because
Yep. Yep.
damage equal to power to any target is the equivalent of I was totally unblocked
Mhm.
if I'm hitting the face, or I'm getting a removal spell against a creature in a way I don't normally get that option. So like flying in
Yeah.
haste, win the flip, you're like, that's fine. It's probably better long term, but
Hmm.
lose a flip would be a lot of payoff right away rather than the
Yeah.
reward of get to do it again next turn.
Yeah. If they have a reach creature that for life, I would really like to lose this flip so that I can just hit my opponent directly.
Mhm.
But it got flying, so now they can block. Oh no. At first, when I like loaded up this card, I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of lines of rules text on one ability. But I think it's like pretty grokkable on the first try. You get what's going on. You could even informally explain this to an opponent without, and they would fully understand what you're saying. Hey, I'm going to flip and either give this guy flying in haste or it's going to fling itself. And your opponent will be like, oh, okay, I understand your card. You know, like it's pretty comprehensible, which is nice for like a 7 liner. And just the kindness, I guess, of the lose the flip clause. I mean, the like lose the flip, nothing happens is I think has been unsuccessful in a lot of Magic designs or some number of Magic designs. So this is addressing the weakness of that of those kinds of effects.
I think the first time I ever encountered that this type of effect would be coughing from the either
Oh, from Pokemon.
original Pokemon TCG or maybe from the Jungle, the
Okay.
initial expansion, which was it has an ability that like it deals 10 damage, and then you flip a coin, and it's like heads one status effect, tails a different status effect. It's like heads
Hmm.
confused, tails poisoned, or something like
Hmm.
that. Where
Hmm.
it's like
Okay.
so many of the cards were heads poisoned, tails nothing, and then suddenly you have this card. It's like, oh, how are you ever going to beat it? Like your opponent can't ever lose because they're just going to be flipping, and no matter the
Hmm.
flip, a bad thing happens. And like that payoff is so I think a big way that the Clash cards I mean, there are a
Hmm.
lot of problems with Clash
Clash.
from
Yeah. Yeah.
original, Lore and Morningtide, but one big problem is, like, you have so little control and, like, you just don't get any extra thing from the tail, not even, like, an interesting failure,
Hmm.
um, and so this is a fun card. It's in a way, you can spend 6 mana to make this a flying haste creature,
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
sense. Do you
Yeah.
think the flying haste component is do you think that hits the one keyword bonus point?
Ooh, I don't think this qualifies for the Eint rule because,
Mhm.
but we may have a different clause that we're we're
Sure.
proposing here.
The Eitrel and the Kieran roll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need to have different ways to earn half a bonus point. uh, this is pretty far off of the Sarah the Sarah precedent, I would say, but
Yeah,
we can have the current half point. Yeah, we can have a half point for this for sure.
and definitely unequivocally a
A
human
human.
type line
Yeah.
and even in the name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is like clean enough that I almost want to see like 8 cards that package together like the first sentence and the last sentence of this card, and then just have different effects if you win or lose. Kind of like voting cards, like you vote
Sure.
and then one of two effects happen. I want coin flip, one of two effects happen. And
Yeah.
call it, give that a keyword. do some sort of like styling on the rules text so it's really clear how it works. Um, yeah, kind of like the die rolling cards almost. I guess the die rolling cards kind of did that in Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, yeah. That sort of frame helping it be
Yeah,
very clear each time so you can more
yeah.
easily read this, randomization effect.
For the D&D cards, thinking about those were like you either get an okay effect or a better effect. But
Mhm,
I think I sort of like the difference here of like you get one of two effects, both of which are good, and one of which you probably have a preference for, but you don't get to pick what you get. And I kind
mhm.
of like that. I would like to see another, I don't know, like I said, 8 cards that all work that way.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like, pulling from this cannonball idea, I think this could be like a Rakdos,
Yeah.
like the cult of Rakdos on Ravnica,
Hmm.
mechanic.
Yeah, coin flip. There was like an old Rakdos card that flipped coins, like Tavern Swindler or something.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, I think the coin flip is very like, gladiatorial arena, thumbs up or thumbs down. The emperor picks whether like that kind of like arbitrary sort of like we want to be entertained kind of thing. Um,
Or, the, like, tightrope walker, like, on one side, it's spikes, and the other side, it's lava. It's
yeah,
like, they're gonna fall one way or the other. Guess we'll, it'll
yeah,
be a good show. We'll find
yeah,
out. It's
yeah.
unscripted.
I guess I'm saying it's like a random amount of randomness that I could still see being like a solid playable thing in like limited or like where I'm
Mhm.
not just doing the coin flip deck where I'm attempting to flip like 1,000 coins. Like I'm
Right.
just doing a little bit of that effect.
Tim is a human cannonball, a human.
Hmm. I guess the art is helping us determine that this is not a cannonball that resembles a human, but instead is a human that's pretending to be a cannonball. So yes, I would say this is a human.
Sounds great. Our next submission is from Auxiliary Otter. It's Veilward Sentinel. It's
Hmm.
for 3 white and white, a 4/4 creature human hero at uncommon, and it has flying and pay for life.
Hmm.
Untap this creature. It gains
Hmm.
indestructible until end of turn. Activate only once each turn.
Hmm. Okay, so this is in some ways worse than vigilance because you have to pay for life to untap it, but in some ways better than vigilance because you also get indestructible. You become like a cool blocker, or you deflect a removal spell.
Mhm.
Hmm. This almost has like a weird like reverse ward almost, where it's like I can put up a shield at cost to stop something from killing me.
And your opponent kind of wants to have 2 removal effects.
Oh,
One
okay.
that
Hmm.
y and then you're like you're triggering the untap indestructible with one, and then you're,
Yeah.
like, getting through the shield on the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have reached 5 mana
Hmm.
and you still you want to get below a certain life total for
Oh.
mechanical reasons,
Yeah. Okay.
and you haven't reached that at 5 mana,
Hmm.
this does let you, like, chunk down each turn in kind of a controllable or useful way that you're like, "I'm also hitting you for 4
Hmm.
mana and or, like, hitting you and blocking one of your creatures, and also I'm doing this thing to,
Hmm.
get my Cecil deck or something to work."
This puts me in the mindset of a super old, I think, Champions of Kamigawa card, Reverse the Sands, which just lets
Mm.
you, I think it's literally says redistribute players' life totals. And that's a white card. Like a lot of times, these sort of like Repay in Kind, Sorin cards are black, but
Mhm.
here you get to have the white flying creature that enables you, and then the white payoff of like, I'm going to drop myself to 3 and then swap us. So I'm at 17 now. Um,
If you just showed me the mechanical components of this card and not
mm,
the name, art,
yeah.
or creature type,
Yeah.
I would assume that this is a card on Ixalan, that this is
Oh,
in that
yeah. That vampire.
white
Yeah.
vampire, famished paladin
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's the white like 3/1 that you can pay some life to keep it alive. But this is also kind of like a cool treatment. It's a like a heroic white-haired flying superhero-ish character flying
Mhm.
over a city. So that's kind of cool in its own way.
And they can probably fly down from above the clouds to
Hmm. Mhm.
intercept some attack or
Mhm.
something. And then they've got the big defense, but now they've already like done the fly into the scene move.
Mm,
And once
mm,
you're into a scene, you can't do that like cool triumphant fly into the scene move.
mm.
That's already been used up. So now you can get
Yeah, you're
now you're
vulnerable.
indestructible. But if somebody was like waiting for you to do that, now there's the trap.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
It's a really interesting window for gaining indestructible there, rather than like a different sort of countering an ability.
This feels like it's been tweaked to fit as comfortably as possible in uncommon for something for a creature that can, like, protect itself and is like a giant flying asset, right? You had to
Mhm.
make the life cost, like, pretty high. That makes it kind of beatable if they're really leaning on it. Like, I could just attack with 5 creatures, and sure, they'll eat 1, but they'll be losing life because they ate one of my creatures. So the knobs are kinda turned to make it to aim this at uncommon, and I think it's successful.
Do you think this how do you feel about the flying plus indestructible bonus point
Hmm.
here?
Does this qualify for the current? This is like a modified current clause because
Okay. Yeah.
it only gains 1 keyword, and it does so while also having flying.
Mhm. And classic question, Tim, is a human hero a human?
Hmm. Yes, yes. I believe they embody the best of humanity.
Are superhumans still human?
Well, it's not like a mutant human or whatever. So yes, I
Mhm.
believe it to be a human.
Yeah. I love the simplicity of the submission and the, like,
Yeah.
intricacy of the, like, mechanics of it in play.
All right, next up we have a card from Andrew, who's back with Sickening Jockey. This is 3 black black for a 4/4. It has flying amongst other things. 5 mana 4/4 flyer like we talked about. It also has Delve, which is the thing where you can pay a couple or you can exile a couple cards from your graveyard to make this cheaper. So you could even get this down to be like a 2 mana creature. But the next clause in here, this creature enters with a -1/-1 counter on it for each card exiled with it. So if you do pay the discount, you get a smaller creature. And then you may play cards exiled with Sickening Jockey by paying life equal to the number of counters on it as an additional cost. Whoa, we're gonna have to break that one down.
Yeah. I love this because in order to have cards exiled with Sickening Jockey, in order
Hmm.
to be able to, like, have those cards to play, you need to be delving
Yeah.
them.
Hmm.
And when you're delving, you are reducing the cost of this, you're reducing the size of it.
Hmm.
So, if you want a 4/4, you don't get any, like, cards to play off of this,
Yeah.
and you don't get any discount. If you
Hmm.
want the most cards to be able to play off of this, you are paying black and a black and delving the 3 colorless mana cost away. You're delving 3 cards from your graveyard, making this a 1/1 flyer, but you kind of got to
Hmm.
draw 3 cards from your graveyard that, you do have to pay life, like, as an additional cost to cast those, but that is 3 extra cards that you can play or cast.
Hmm. You have to kind of think through it a little bit because of that. Like, if I want to get 3 cards back, yeah, I'm going to be losing 3 life 3 times. If I want to get 1 card back, I'm going to be losing 1 life 1 time. Hmm. And then my creature is like a variety of sizes in those scenarios.
Yeah. If I want if I have a land in my graveyard and I'd like to play an additional land,
Hmm.
I might go 2 black and a black to get a
Hmm.
3/3 flyer,
Hmm.
a 4/4 flyer with a -1/-1 counter on it.
Yeah.
So I paid 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer that then lets me play that land I exiled with it
Hmm.
by paying 1 life because I only exiled 1 card. There's only 1 counter on this thing.
Hmm.
So a 3/3 flyer that lets you replay a land from your graveyard for -1 life, like,
Yeah.
that's a card that I think I would potentially
Yeah.
play, and the flexibility goes up from there, that there's lots of other
Mhm.
different ways you can do that, but, like, that as a base mode seems
Yeah.
relatively playable.
I think included in that base mode is just sort of like it's a 3/3 flyer that enters and draws a card, wiggly definition.
That grave diggers in a way,
Yeah, yeah,
or
Gravedigger, yeah.
digs graves.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, if Gravedigger was a 3/3 flyer instead of a 2/2, you'd think it would be better, and this is a rare, so it gets to be better.
Mhm. The what is it? Is it Cadaver Imp from Rise of Eldrazi, I wanna
Yeah, it's like a
say?
1/1 that Gravediggers, yeah,
That's,
flyer.
like, enormously playable, or used to be. I think
Mm,
rates on creatures maybe
yeah.
aren't the same as they used to be, but used to be very good.
Yeah, Gravediggers used to be a little more valuable, like, they're just I mean, they're still solid, but they used to be a little more valuable because the range of power levels of cards in limited was like much wider. So
Mhm.
getting a key creature back was like humongous. Whereas like, I don't know, I'll just draw me any creature in my deck and it's relevant, which is closer to maybe not fully true, but closer to modern limited.
And small and mid-sized flyers also used to be way more, like, just take over the game win
Yeah.
condition, like, I have a 3/2 flyer, that's my win condition
Yeah.
used to be
Yeah.
more of a deal.
Absolutely. And those poor blue creatures are just so much less relevant these days. 4 mana 3/3 flyers are not what they used to be.
Yeah.
This is also like a One Piece reference, but I only got 300 episodes into One Piece, so I don't recognize this card. Uh,
Uh, I will admit that I am not one of those who are watching One Piece.
yeah,
Flavor text, some use the restorative powers of a Pegasus to their own twisted ends. Because this is a creature human Pegasus
yeah.
to be the sickening
The art is like
jockey.
a figure. There's like a barfing sick Pegasus and like it's like a cool, I don't know, very villain
Yeah.
coded sort of guy on the back. I don't know who it is, but
Yeah.
they got like a cool coat and a hat, and they have like a big grin. Yeah.
For players who are playing, especially like mono black sort of decks or black based
Hmm.
decks, sometimes like cards that are kind of punishing is kind of part of the fun of the experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But do you feel like there's anything like lost in that you're never going to get both the 4/4 flyer component of this
Mm.
and the draw 3 cards component of this at the same time or in the same game?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, if you play the 4/4 flyer, you've sort of lost. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's an interesting point. In the Lorwyn Eclipsed mindset, I sort of expect like I'm going to start with a bunch of counters on me and then grow out of those. I'm going to shed those as I cast the cards or something.
Mhm.
But that's not what this design is aiming for. This is you stay whatever size you come in as.
Yeah. And if you have the ability to remove the counters, then that's
Oh,
really great, both
that is
because it
good.
makes the creature bigger
Yeah.
and if I'm doing the draw 3 cards from my graveyard
Yes.
mode,
Hmm.
I'm if I'm casting or playing all 3 of those cards, I'm paying 9 life total 'cause I'm
Yes.
paying
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
life,
Hmm.
for each one. So if I can wipe the counters from Sickening Jockey, or even better, like, somehow shift them onto my opponent's creatures or something, that might be a little, too much, but if you
Yeah.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron, Leech Ponder, but that doesn't work because of plus anyways, if you just can put +1/+1 counters on this maybe,
Hmm.
to wipe out the but no, it says equal to the number of counters. Anyways,
Oh, a number of counters. Funny.
but that is a good reason to put +1/+1 counters because that they just neutrally wipe
Cancel
each
out. Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there is room to have more of these sort of like Eclipse style, like I'm going to eat counters off of my own creatures for effects, and
Mhm.
this card would be another brick in that wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is a card that is,
Yeah.
fun, played, tried out some, and then another card is printed either, like, later in that
Hmm.
standard
Hmm.
format
Hmm.
or just, like, in the long term of things, and then people are
Yeah.
like, "Great, my Sickening Jockey fits perfectly with this, 3 mana legend or
Yeah.
something,"
Yeah.
and I'm able to play this stuff and then get the counters off and then bounce and then draw a card because I removed the counters and, you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
winning the game.
Some commander that eats counters. I don't know if we've seen that yet, but oh, look at this cool card that exists that loves to have his counters eaten.
Yeah. One thing I like about this challenge is by saying, "Hey, here's the mana value, here's the size of the creature, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be a creature and everything."
Mm,
We are seeing, as Andrew, the submitter of this card, always says, restrictions breed creativity. We're seeing some really interesting,
yeah.
not overly complicated mechanical designs, but like designs with some depth to them in
Mhm,
terms of how you'll play them and how you'll deck build with them. And
mhm.
that's really fun.
There's a lot to like about the way that this, like, overall challenge, we know the size of all these creatures, we're not trying to digest that, we're just comparing all their various abilities to each other, that's pretty fun.
Is
Um,
a human Pegasus a human?
oh, they've lost their humanity, but unfortunately, yes, they are still a human.
Our next submission is from Yabo.
Mhm.
It's Horde Master Dragon. For 3 red and a red, it's a 4/4 creature dragon at rare with flying trample.
Mm.
Artifacts you control have exalted.
Mm.
Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, gain control of up to 1 artifact they control.
That's a fun card, alright. Artifacts you control have exalted.
I love Exalted. I'm just generally a big fan of Exalted. I also like Bant,
Yeah.
huge surprises. Whenever you're giving Exalted to, like, a big group
Pool of
of
things, yeah,
permanents, it's like stuff grows so big so quickly.
yeah.
Numbers get kind of, uh, out of this world.
Mhm, mhm. Giving a creature that's already big more bigness aims this closer to commander or something for me.
Mhm.
Like a treasure in Dragon's deck feels like something people would want to do. There's a lot of Dragon decks already. This is a nice twist, a fun twist on that. Because going from like being a 4/4 to being, I don't know, a 9/9 or whatever, like the secondary clause on this card maybe doesn't get his chance to shine in limited or in one-on-one, whereas it would in commander.
Yeah. If you are playing this with, "Okay, I have 2 artifacts out. This becomes a 6/6. I
Hmm.
can grab my opponent's mana rock
Mm-hmm.
or an equipment they've got, or things like that. Or if this is a format that has artifact creatures, particularly, oh, I can grab that thing, and it wasn't even able to
Mm.
chump block because my dragon has flying. In Commander, my brain just assumes that you are. This could say soul rings you control have exalted, and
Mm.
whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, gain control of up to 1 soul
Yeah.
ring they control.
Yeah, maybe that's part of what I'm reacting to. It's like in limited, I guess some formats there'd be lots of artifacts, but and maybe I'm expecting any artifact I steal is gonna just like swing the game super hard to the
Mm,
point where this
mhm.
is just the abilities feel kind of win more. Whereas in Commander, I think that's where the that's where like, oh, let me help myself to that. The game doesn't end because I stole 2 artifacts. Um,
How do you feel about artifacts you control have exalted in mono red?
yeah, you're the exalted correspondent for the podcast, but that did feel unusual for red. White is super exalted to me. Green, it just gets to be big, so could probably see exalted there. Black, we got like demons. There's probably demon flavor or whatever. But blue and red are somewhat near the bottom in terms of exaltedness to me.
And it's one of those kind of funny things because, okay, flying in mono red, well, it's a dragon, so okay, dragons
Mm,
get to be flying.
yeah.
And dragons get to be big and have big
Mm,
power and toughness, whereas, you know, if it's a goblin that has flying through some weird thing, or even a phoenix with flying, that toughness is usually going to be fairly small. And then
mm,
you think about exalted, you're like, okay, I'm attacking. Okay, well, attacking is a red thing. And I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. Well, that's also kind of a red thing.
mm.
And
Okay.
hoarding artifacts is a dragon thing. And we can think about treasure, and treasure is often a red thing.
Yeah, that part's really strong. Yeah.
And so enough components of this, like, are red on their own, that then I think my take is kind of, as long as this card is overcosted enough that it isn't showing up constructedly, then it's like an okay bend, if that makes sense.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, dragons seem to get a pass on all that kind of stuff too, like you're saying,
Mhm.
where it's like, "Eh, it's a dragon, it can have whatever abilities it wants." I think the flavor of artifacts and exalted is a nice combo. Like the dragon is like more powerful and more enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I I guess one thing I hadn't considered until now is like it's like exalted is not just this creature attacking alone; it's any of your creatures attacking alone. So it's
Mhm.
sort of boosting your random ogre or whatever because you have artifacts. Um, or like if you're kind of a robot construct deck, like your constructs are bigger when they attack alone because of this. So it might not even be just a dragon card. It might be like an artifact deck card. And there, does that change how I feel about this? I'm actually not sure.
And that especially matters. Exalted also functions as a pseudo haste mechanic
Yeah, yeah.
because it adds, frequently exalted, like this is a 1/1 I'm playing with exalted. Oh,
Mm,
I'm getting an extra point of power on the attacks I'm making as long as I have a creature that's attacking this turn already. And in this case, I play this 5 mana 4/4. Let's say I'm playing it on turn 5. I might be adding 4 points of power and toughness to the
mm,
attack this turn, even though the dragon doesn't have haste. And so that like extra bonus, because it is somewhat analogous to like what the dragon would be doing, I think there's a decent argument for that. I honestly feel like make give this a few extra colors of mana and make it a legend and put this in a commander sort of situation.
mm, mm,
Make this either like Mardu or Naya sort of card, and then there's no worry whatsoever once you tap into like any kind of
mm.
combination of colors more than
Sure,
likely.
yeah, yeah.
And then you can do the like artifact stealing, but a lot of it is, hey, this is a dragon that wants
Mm,
to be doing exalted style combat gameplay and artifact style out of combat gameplay.
mm. I guess it's praise for a card when it's like, I would like this to be a commander, so because I like it so much, I would like to build around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say not a human, unfortunately.
Oh, you don't think the wow. I think you might be right. I think
But we are Einted at least. Uh, yeah.
it can borrow your Ether Sworn Canonist or your Esper Sentinel. I think those are both artifact creature humans.
Mm, yes.
So you can the Hordemaster Dragon can steal the humans. And
Mhm,
so
mhm, mhm. I like
in a
this.
way, if all artifacts are humans, then it is saying humans you control have exalted.
Yeah, yeah.
If and when.
Love it.
Thanks for the submission.
Next up from VT Basemat, we've got Sarah Aspirant is 3 white white for a 1/1 creature human. When this creature dies, if it's not a spirit, return it to the battlefield, but it's a 2/2 spirit with flying. When this creature dies, if it's a spirit and not an angel, return it to the battlefield, but it's a 4/4 spirit angel with flying and vigilance.
It's delightful. We've got a pseudo leveler here, but with a
Yeah.
different component. Instead of ascending through mana expenditure, it's through
Yeah.
uh,
Sacrifice.
yeah, martyrdom and reincarnation. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
probably either capital S sacrifice as a game
Oh,
mechanic or lowercase s sacrifice from a like flavor. Just chump blocking a lot.
5 mana 1/1 is a little tough. I guess if you're just playing white, you're not doing like cabal stuff. You got to block with this, get it killed, block with this, get it killed. And then you got your angel. Maybe in between, you can attack with your 2/2 flyer for a little while, but that's probably like turn 7 or 8 at that point. So I'm trying to get this to angel mode.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine playing this as the 1/1 and then next turn I
Hmm.
wrath and then the turn after I wrath again. And I'm just like, uh it's hey, do you want to block this and kill it? No?
Hmm.
Okay, well then I'm going to wipe the board and have it improve and stick around.
Mhm, mhm.
If it wasn't 5 mana,
Hmm.
I
Which was part
think
of the challenge, so,
yeah,
you know, yeah.
absolutely. Just thinking about
Yeah,
specifically um there's an old play pattern that I learned from this is so I'm so old. Zendikar era standard
okay.
that involved I want to say it's Zektari Shrine Expedition. It's the one that makes like 7/1 tokens
Okay.
and you just like you landfall enough that you have those ready and then
Mhm,
you just go, "Okay, Wrath, create 3/7/1s, attack you with haste,
mm,
attack you."
mhm, mhm,
Uh, and just use Wrath as like a falter effect, like, okay, nothing can block, nothing like, you're playing a control deck, but you have this sort of win condition. If this was cheaper, I think using it as that kind of we're both gonna be wrathing back and forth, almost like how Living End sometimes you'll, like, Living End and, like, keep swapping back and forth which creatures are in the graveyard and
hmm,
on the battlefield,
yeah,
like, those sort of play patterns. But for 5 mana, I think I would want to have some pretty strong sacrifice a creature, get a
hmm,
big
yeah.
positive effect that then I wanna be doing multiple times.
Yeah, cousin to this that I have played a decent amount is Reef Worm, which was
Mm,
originally a
mhm.
commander card, but they threw into Modern Horizons 3, so I got to draft it a bunch of times. And that's a 4 mana 0/1 that when it dies, you make a 3/3, which when that dies, you make a 6/6. When that dies, you make a 9/9. So kind of like positive sacrifice fodder, just like the Sarah Aspirin here. As much as when I first saw this card, I thought this was going to be like a real dominating card to play in blue black, but even in a deck that like is kind of set up to do it, it's still a little bit hard to like make this card work. Like I found that if I had two reforms in a deck, like the draw where I had both of them was pretty rough.
Mhm.
And I think that Sarah Aspirant, yeah, flying is nice, but the creature's not as big. It costs more. It can only die 2 times instead of 3 times. Like I think the precedent of reform makes at least the initial power level of this card. I'm a little bit skeptical. That doesn't say that it's not a cool reference. Like it feels like those old, the old Kithkin or whatever. That like if it's
Mhm.
not a blah blah blah, it becomes a blah blah blah. We've had like maybe 10 of those cards by now because it's such a cool progression to it. But power level, yeah, I think tweaks would probably be necessary.
We even did a pseudo levelers design challenge, I wanna say in 2023.
Yeah.
That was a fun Figure of Destiny kind of, exploration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have to invest. You have to get over the first hump of mana on this, but then you don't have
Mhm.
to invest more mana. It's a funny thing. I always feel weird being critical about this kind of stuff because, like, is the concept cool? Absolutely. Is the flavor awesome? Absolutely. Is it novel? Absolutely. But because my like limited brain looked at this and said, "Nah," like I'm somehow being dismissive of a card that's a solid design overall.
I do think, the 3 white, no white, like, limited card is something
Mhm.
that we've got a lot of
Yeah,
experience or
yeah,
time just seeing, like, okay, Cloud Goat Ranger versus
sure,
again,
yeah.
my references are so old, Geist Honored Monk,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
these different things come out in the different ways,
Mhm, mhm.
or, okay, this one you need to it interacts with the set mechanic in this way.
Mm,
I think that it's net like, that it ends up as a 4/4 Spirit Angel with Flying and Vigilance, and because, like, the Sarah component, there's enough
mm.
cool parts of this that,
Yeah.
m like, definitely gets it over as, like, this is a fun design, and
Mhm.
it's submitted without a specific rarity, and so I wonder, like,
Yeah.
is this a common?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. It's pretty intense rules-wise for a common.
Mhm,
I guess the other piece that I'm trying to apply for commons is, like, is this a workhorse card that works in at least half the decks of that set, right?
mhm,
Like, we don't have quite as many chaffy commons, there are fewer per pack, we really need them
mhm.
to work for sealed purposes. And this is kind of a red flag there by that standard. I guess that I could imagine a set where it's important to do all this stuff, but it's yeah, it's a little challenging to make this a common in the kind of play booster framework.
I have a hard time imagining that decks want 2 of this, which is, I
Yeah.
think, something that if it's gonna be a common.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
wonder if, and again, the challenge was make it a mana value 5 sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this, like, made a copy of itself when it entered the first time, if this was 2
Mm.
of this effect or even 3 of this effect,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then you're like, "Okay, 5 mana for 3/1/1s, but they become 3/2/2s and then
Yeah.
become 3/4/4s."
Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
fun. Yeah. Give it double team if we're going arena mode.
but then you're like, "Okay, so you made tokens that aren't dying." It's like, "Yeah, but, like, don't worry about it. That we have some way of making that work
Hmm. That's
mechanically."
why we need arena, yeah. Double
Yeah,
team makes that work.
yeah,
Or conjuring.
there we go.
Um, yeah, this challenge aside, even at 3 mana, I at 3 mana, an average deck can play it. At 4 mana, a sacrifice deck can play it. Like, I think is sort of how I see this card.
I'm
Um,
also imagining it with some, like, Avacyn Restore, like, a combination of, okay, we have a card that can search up humans and put them onto the
mm,
battlefield, and that really wants, like, that's both human typal and angel typal,
mm,
and it's like, great, this is the glue card that is a human when it's in your library, but can be an angel on the battlefield, like
mm.
some kind of combination there, but, we've seen, what is the name of that? It's like a 1/1 human for a bunch of mana, and it enters and
Yeah.
you just create an angel token.
I just Googled that or just Scryfalled that one. Urbis Protector, 6 mana, 1/1. When it enters, make an angel.
Yeah.
And that card was unplayed, partially because it was in Gatecrash, but exactly it fits. Sorry, I shouldn't have jumped straight to that. It fits
Mm,
what you're talking
mm,
about here. It's human, rules wise, but it gives you angels for secondary reasons. Yeah.
yeah. I I'm thinking more about, like, okay, if we don't think about the angel part, if we just think about the spirit part,
Hmm.
um, we've seen, like, 1/1 that comes back as a 1/1 flyer
Hmm.
be, again, maybe this was just back in the day playable, but, like, very playable in limited and in certain
Yeah.
constructed
Hmm.
environments.
Hmm.
And so I think taking this card and tapering down the mana, uh, there are thresholds at which it's like it's pretty interesting, and maybe there is some combination of, okay, it's a 1/1 for 1 mana that dies into a 2/2 flyer, and
Hmm.
then you spend the extra mana to bump it up from the 2/2 flyer to the angel
Hmm.
part.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
that's where the extra 3 mana come in or something.
Yeah. Nice card.
Is a spirit angel
Hmm.
that isn't a human, but is a creature human that isn't a spirit angel, is that a human?
Oh, it does lose its humanness once it comes back. I didn't even
Mhm.
think about that. A lot of these like Kithkini cards they keep all of their forms, but yeah, this stops being a human. I guess this is the zombie role, right? Is a otherwise untyped zombie a human? Um, I'm gonna say this gets to be a human no matter what, and also once it turns into a spirit, it's still half a human. So
Sure.
it's a 75% human across the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of levelers, our next submission is from Cord.
Hmm.
It's Zendikari Ascendant.
Hmm.
It's 4 and a white mana for a creature human scout at uncommon, and
Okay.
it starts as a 4/4 with
Wow.
flying.
Huh.
It also has whenever a land enters under your control, put a level counter on this creature.
Oh.
And so then if it's at level 2 or greater, it has Shroud from Instance. This creature can't be
Oh.
the target of instant spells, and it becomes a 5/5. So if you've cast this for 4 and a white. It's a 4/4 with flying for 5 mana, and then you've had 2 landfall triggers. This is a 5/5 with Shroud from Instance. And then if you've had 4 landfall triggers at level 4 plus, it has Shroud from non-permanent spells. It's a 7/7, and this creature is an angel in addition to its other types.
Hmm. All right, so this is like starts as a 5 mana 4/4 flyer, and then let's call it 2 turns later becomes a 5/5. Let's call it 4 turns later becomes a 7/7, and then also gains some amount of shroud as you go along.
Mhm.
Shroud from instance, and then shroud from non-permanent spells, which is instants and sorceries. Are there other? Is a scheme a spell? I don't know.
I think mostly instants and sorceries.
Yeah.
So it is funny. It could say shroud from instants, and then it gains also shroud
Hmm.
from sorceries. But I think this is also saying like, hey, this is shroud, which normally would say you can't do equipment things, but we're
Hmm.
specifically like reinforcing. No, this is like a white card and Zendikar. They're going to be doing equipment things.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. That is funny. The shroud from instance 2 turns after you play it doesn't really do the same thing that like that kind of protection does the turn like a card printed with that normally. Like
Hmm.
Shroud from Instance is kind of nice in a case where, like, I wanted to at least live that 1 turn, or at least make it inconvenient for a turn. But you have a decent window. Like, even in response to the second land entering, you can zap this thing.
Because the leveling is also like that's spelled out of a trigger, and because it's almost always happening at sorcery speed when you're playing a land, unless you've got like fetch land sort of things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It is nice that the baseline is a 4 for a flyer
yeah,
rather than, it starts as
yep.
a lot of levelers start tiny and then, oh yeah, eventually you'll get a 4/4 flyer. Don't worry. Once you spend 6 or 8 mana or anything, then you're there. Here we're saying that's the floor. And if the game is going long, then you're in 7/7 that can't be exiled if your opponent can't draw their removal until really late.
How do we feel about land leveling versus kind of paid leveling? I guess.
I don't dislike it.
Hmm.
It certainly also fits with the old landfall quests, the various expedition for X or Y place on Zendikar, kind of landfall, just oh, you're incrementing this thing. And the fact that landfall and level up both come from Zendikar originally. Like there's some kind of fun combination to putting those two things together. One upside of level up is giving you something to spend your mana on when you're just drawing lands. And so in this case, when you're just drawing a land, you're getting the landfall trigger, but then you don't have something to spend the mana on. Hopefully you do just have other things to spend the mana on.
Hmm.
But just in terms of like thinking about sequencing where this like has in common with level up versus where it doesn't.
Yeah.
In general, this is kind of a weird first card to encounter landfall level up on though,
Sure. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
5 mana landfall and 5 mana level up aren't things that I'm necessarily super drawn in by compared to
Hmm.
like 1, 2, or 3 drops. Just because how often are you in a game where you've had, let's see, 5 plus 4, 9 land drops?
Like you've already used up half your landfall, but by the time you play this, yeah.
Mhm.
Huh. I don't know. It's still cool. I think like this meets the challenge really well. Obviously, very clearly playable card. The flavor of becoming an angel at the end. Maybe that's something I don't totally know what angels are flavor wise on Zendikar, but maybe if you explore enough, you find some relic that turns you into an angel. If we're trying to get that
Mhm.
flavor going, this could do that pretty well. You have to be a really veteran scouter in order to turn into an angel.
One thing I do like about Zendikar Angels is they have the halos that go in front of their eyes rather than, like, floating above their
Oh,
head. It's, like,
oh yeah.
floating, like, partially in front of their face. I played a Zendikar Angel, in
Hmm.
a brief Pathfinder game. It's a crossbow gunslinger. It's very. She
Oh.
was secretly very Eldrazi,
Oh.
like already messed up on the inside. It was
Mhm.
anyways. Um, this is, I think, again getting into kind of the funny psychology around cards because of the 5/5 and 7/7 modes. There's a little bit of, well, before we love a 4/4 for 5 mana that has some like incidental upside, but now
Mm.
I'm like, well, but I'm not going to be able to get to the 7/7 part. So then I like the weird little part of my brain then ticks down the value of the 4 and a white for a 4/4 part, even though that part is just as good
Yeah.
because I can't access that. And then it's like, oh,
Mm.
are we, when you put the unattainable on the card, like who's living the dream and who's going, well, I didn't live the dream, so therefore the card
Mm.
wasn't as good as, or I didn't feel like I got to like make the most out of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is a human scout a human?
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah.
And even when they turn into an angel this time, they keep their humanity. So even more human than normal. All right. Our second to last for this episode is going to be from Pat. We got a silver border card here. Witty Battler. It's 3 blue blue for a 4/4. Creature, human, wizard, gamer. Pew, 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 pew. At uncommon. As long as your library is taller than each opponent's library, this creature has flying and hexproof. Parentheses, I recommend double sleeving your deck. So this doesn't go off of the number of cards in the library. This is physical height on the battlefield.
And of course, Witty Battler being a wordplay reference to Battle of Wits,
Battle of Wits, yes.
the 3 blue and a blue enchantment that says if you have 200 or more cards in your library, you win the game.
Mm-hmm. It's like a zoom in of that guy's face, is what it is.
I love it. Great reference, great fun
Yeah.
card. Putting on a 4/4 creature is neat. The fact that instead of winning the game, flying hexproof, but like, I don't know, I could write a 4/4 flying and hexproof to a destination potentially.
This is like a classic unset limited card where it like actually functions mechanically, but one out of 20,000 Magic players have ever cast the card and experienced its majesty. Like, it's like not workhorse enough that like goofball on, cards that decks that include uncards will throw this in there because it's, fun to play with Hangman or whatever. This is the person who bought the extra set of sleeves at the game store, the pre-release for whatever, and got to live that dream. And no one else will experience that dream.
This is the silver bordered or acorn set where all of the card art is a zoomed in crop of another thing. It's called Unside because
Hmm.
all of the cards are set inside other cards.
Unexpensive to produce. Yeah, a successful uncard. Check mark.
Absolutely. Uh, does
Are gamers humans?
yeah, I was gonna ask, does this count flying and hexproof and
Oh,
double sleeving? Does this count as exactly one other keyword? I think it's close.
sure, yeah.
But yes, Tim, are human wizard gamers? Are they
Hmm.
human?
Or they transcended humanity, and human is but a label on their powerful form.
Yeah.
Excellent question that we must study for ages.
Once I was human. Now I am far more.
Yeah, thanks for the card, Pat.
Absolutely love it. And our last submission for today is from Church Wizard and
Ooh,
features a extremely popular mechanic here on the Beacon of Creation server.
speaking of Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. This card is called Aeronauts. It is for white and a white. That's just 2 mana. It is a
Mm,
2/2 flyer. It's a creature human pilot at uncommon. Well, that's
mm,
interesting. It's a 2/2 flyer for 2 mana. Oh, it has squad for
mm,
3 generic mana. Squad, of course. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may pay 3 any number of times. When this creature enters, create that many tokens that are copies of it.
mm.
So, for 3 mana, white and a white, I would have 2/2/2 flyers, which
Hmm.
amounts to 4 power and 4 toughness worth of flying.
There you go. But you have other modes on top of that. I like that.
Mhm.
Squad's back. This is like a limited compatible squad, right? Like I can get my 2/2 flyer, which is good. 2 mana 2/2 flyer.
Mhm.
5 mana 2/2 flyers also kind of does things. And then, in some cases for 8 mana or whatever, I can get 3, or 11 mana, I can get 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, very nice. Is the canonical amount of aeronauts 2? Like you have to, they have the buddy system.
I mean, I think the answer to that is yes, because of a, nuance particular of the English language, which is aeronauts.
Oh.
It's plural, so therefore
Hmm.
the number begins at 2.
Hmm. 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 All right.
I think it's fun to see Squad because, Squad is ultimately like multi-kicker,
Hmm.
but because it's so specific about what it is and like it's easy to say, okay, well, what's the kicker thing? Oh, it's a copy of this. Well, I see the card. I'm literally holding the card and looking at it. And I'm just looking at all of the elements of the card that aren't the squad part that is being copied. It
Hmm.
becomes very easy then to kind of like mentally math out potentially. It is, you do have to do a little bit of arithmetic to go, okay, great. 3 plus white, white. I know it's 5 mana for 2/2/2s. You do have to go, what is 8 mana for 3/2/2s,
Hmm. Hmm.
as that kind of scalar quantity grows.
Hmm.
This is a fun way to kind of hit the main challenge by hitting the bonus point of 1 extra keyword, like using the
Yeah.
squad to reach the 4/4.
Yeah. Is this the number one winner of the bonus points in terms of
I
like, yeah,
I think so. It's the
yeah,
most like this is directly it is a human. It being a human is like part of the reason it's a squad
yeah.
rather than I guess you could have hawks in a squad, like a squadron
Hmm.
hawk, but
Hmm.
for the most part, that's a very human thing to be as opposed to like an angel.
Yeah. The Crip Rat Cat card that had just one keyword plus its associated text, but it wasn't like squad is even more pure than forecast in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it literally is in the sense of it is
Mm.
more of a discrete specific keyword rather than
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
a
An
thing.
ability hiding in a keyword. Yeah.
Mhm.
A longer ability hiding in a keyword. Very nice card. Where would I want to put this kind of squad? I'm still skeptical that we could get 10 squad cards into a standard set. Maybe I'm wrong. But if we need to do
10 is
like,
a yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm agreeing that 10 is a lot. I think we might be able to get 5 uncommons and 5 mythic.
Yeah, that's plausible. I guess if I want to have like conspiracy or some multiplayer format that's not quite commander level, then this kind of card serves a good purpose. Because I'd need, those games might go long, so I'd need something that does something, but also evasive stuff is very prized in those environments. So if I had, yeah, and maybe this is a little conspiracy ish because it's a little bit like Da Vinci invention kind of flavor as well.
Yeah. Got a person with kind of hang glider bat wings,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
little wingsuit. I do think if I wanted to get more squad cards in the same set,
Hmm.
I might look at reducing the number of color pips in the top cost and increasing the number of them in the squad cost,
Hmm.
such that, I have a squad card in each of the 5 monocolors. And maybe I'm doing like gold mythics and whatever, we'll put them
Hmm.
aside, but like the
Hmm.
uncommons. But then, hey, I want to get multiple of this thing. It's like, okay, here's the payoff to being nearly mono white is you
Hmm.
can squad this thing more
Yeah.
times or
The
being
total
nearly mono
squad
black.
cost is only 6 mana, but 4 of it's white. So you have to be pretty dedicated to white. Okay.
And because we have seen, various like
Hmm.
here's 4 pips of hybrid mana sort of
Mm.
cards.
Mhm,
Not
mhm.
certainly every set, but like
Yeah.
more often than I would have expected. I kind of expect those things to be like, just shadow more, really. But like
Mhm.
we see that from time to time. I think exploring things like that, but using squad to get like the extra pips of
Mm.
the colorful
Okay.
mana, whether that's monocolor or hybrid. I think that's kind of space to make squad a payoff to that without necessarily
Mm.
having to have cards that just have red, white, red, white, red, white, red, white in the top cost.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good pitch and a good submission. It was a great submission.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
we need to steal the church emoji to put on Church Wizard's card.
True, true. And there's even a church in the art.
Oh, on brand.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for this first
First
still
half.
beefy episode.
Yeah, you're getting your content. Don't worry. We didn't even need
Mhm.
2 sides to cards to talk for, 8 minutes about these things. So, this is the first half of the cards. Do you have a favorite or 2 from this first batch?
Ooh. Hmm. Okay. My favorite is my card because I designed it.
Mm.
It's Juliet's narcissism
You
era.
have the power if you need to.
Oh, no. I think I'm going to go with Miss Liss's Destroyer of Histories as my favorite from this batch. I think especially specifically
Oh.
because I know it's kind of niche, but that getting you to do a artifact based draft or
Mm.
limited sort of
Mhm.
setup while sticking to a more classical making a pact with demons
Mm.
kind of devouring history. I'm a
Mhm.
human demon. I'm granted immortality by burning history. Like it's fitting those flavors together in a way that is seems kind of novel or unexpected. And I think finding spaces for that is a
Hmm.
great thing to do when designing monocolor cards.
Yeah, the demon, you get to devour some history, gain some life. Yeah, cool card. I think I got 2 picks. I think one of them I think your card, the Summer Fling dash flying, like, hits the kinda simplicity that we're hoping for from, like, a sub-rare card, but still has plenty of technology on it. The difference between, like, enter this turn or paired, like, bridges this dash mechanic with some other it combines with 2 different color pairs in an imagined set. You can see that pretty clearly.
Mhm.
And, the flavor is just really out there, which is great too. I think right next to that was the human cannonball, and I think I
Sure.
really like the potential of give us the coin flip mechanic in a set. Give us, 8, 10 cards that all work the same way that are random, but random more meaning like I have to figure out how to work around what I have available this turn, which to me is still pretty magic-y. Like I know I have like a good base, I got a 4/4, and I get some other thing that happens, and I have to, really but I don't get to plan fully ahead, which also feels nice and red.
Yeah, totally, totally. A lot of great submissions, and I
Yeah.
look forward to reading and reviewing the back half of them. But for now, we've got a new design challenge coming up for the month of
Mm.
March.
Mm.
Tim, you know what year it is?
2026?
It's the year of the horse.
Uh-oh.
And so March's design challenge is year of the horse.
Oh.
Design a legendary card with saddle. Of course, saddle the mechanic that first showed up in Outlaws of Thunder Junction and then returned in the Aether Drift set.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
it's kind of crew-esque, but for a card that's usually already a creature.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a little bit like the challenge we just got through. You know, working with saddle is kind of like working with like a big flyer, right? You've already got a creature, and then you're kind of lathering on some extra special sauce to put it over the top.
Yeah. Of course, you have much more flexibility when it comes to mana value and
Yeah.
size and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, a legendary card with saddle. I've got some bonus points here. The first of
Mhm.
which is Casimir Pulaski Day. The card is or cares about nights. This is, of course, a
Okay.
holiday which is the first Monday. As we all know, Casimir Pulaski Day is a holiday on the first Monday of March each
Hmm.
year, usually in especially Illinois and the like Chicago public school
Oh,
district.
okay.
It's a like holiday off. Casimir
Hmm.
Pulaski, sometimes referred to as the like father of like the American cavalry,
Oh,
like
okay.
as an idea.
Like American Revolution kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the other bonus point is all men have their appointed time. That's something no
Hmm.
horse can change,
Hmm.
which is an effect that lasts indefinitely.
Ah, we got a little Delu horse technology.
Mhm,
All right,
mhm.
all right, all right. We got a legendary creature, we're loosening our belt buckle. We're hoping for something kind of powerful and impressive out of the horse. I'm wondering if we can even get one or two memes about evil and intimidating horses. Uh,
It doesn't have to be a horse. You
oh,
can
okay,
lots of things with can
that's
have
true.
saddles.
Yeah, a cool dinosaur. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Can you
and
saddle like a thopter?
sure, you can saddle a thopter. I mean, we
Yeah,
saw you can saddle porcupines, like, that's
I guess
the
that's true. Yeah, they already opened it up for us. Yeah,
and an effect that lasts indefinitely. Lots of ways you can, arrive at that, and
yeah.
lots of ways that that can be figured out.
Like
Uh,
a +1/+1 counter lasts indefinitely. So yeah.
mhm,
hmm
absolutely. And those submissions are going to be due March 27th.
Very nice. Love to hear it. Just always looking forward to all these crazy cards. Like we were saying at the very beginning, like, hey, give us a flyer with one extra keyword, invent a new keyword, put that on a card. That's what we're expecting to get. And instead, we get like all kinds of crazy variations that really push the edges of the challenge, the legality of the submission or whatever. And we're always very happy to have that. Like we're not trying to like restrict you down to you must do exactly this thing, but yeah, try to at least stay in the spirit of the rules here. And when people do that, it tends to be really fun, and we get a lot of variety.
I loved the submissions that we had today that were, having us ask the question of like, what is 5 mana?
Yeah,
What is a 4/4? It's like, great,
yeah, yeah,
this is perfect.
absolutely. And I think that'll be it for the podcast for the week. Hop on the Discord to submit. I mean, join the army, really. Like we got a huge crew now submitting cards every month. Absolutely love it. The like design challenge channel goes ham every time a new challenge gets posted because people are so excited to get feedback. Um, yeah, so be sure to hop on that so you can follow along with it. Anything you want to tell people about?
Not this time.
All righty. Well, if you want to find us, Discord is the place to do it. And most of all, thanks everyone for listening.
And always remember, if you're a human, you could be a 4/4 flyer too.
Hmm.
I don't know. We but like go learn how to pilot a hot air balloon. There's
Oh.
like there's like what 45 hot air balloons in the entire world at this point.
Oh. Wow.
It's like a surprisingly low number.
Jeez. Uh,
As we always say, can anyone ever really own a balloon?
that's